Hello, my fabulous artists. So today I'm excited for you because you're going to learn about this radial weaving. So you got a plate and you painted that plate any way you would like. Today you're going to set up your weaving and begin to weave. What I have for you is this template. It's a circle that fits right inside your plate and it's got little lines on it. So there are two ways you can do this. One thing that you can do is you can get a Sharpie marker and you can make little marks on your plate about where you want to cut. And you can go around and do that and then go back and cut. What I did when I did mine was I just put this template inside my plate. I picked up my scissors and I just cut where those were. Now the tricky thing about that is as you're going, you can't let go of that template because you don't want it to move. So you've got to make sure that you're holding on tight to that. So if you're afraid that'll happen to you, you may want to just make the marks and come back and cut where those marks are. If I were you, I would make those marks in pencil so you can go back and erase them because you don't want those marks on your artwork. Now you might be noticing I'm going around and I'm cutting. And when you're cutting, I want you to cut down to that second ridge. There's a ridge right here. And then there's a second ridge, and I know on this video it's hard to see, but when you get your plate, you're gonna see it. I'm cutting right to that second ridge. You don't want to go past that second ridge, and you're gonna cut all the way around. Remember, I don't want that template to move. I'm gonna go all around that plate, cutting down to the exact same place because you want the same all the way around. Once you do that, you don't need the template anymore. You can take that back up to the supply table or pass it along to a friend. So right now I have my plate and it has slits in it. Those are the slits that we are going to put our warp. So in weaving, there are two different kinds of strands. There is a warp and a weft. So your warp, let me just show you, is going to, and it's a little different when it's on radial, which means we're going around. So to start, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the back. I'm going to pick out the yarn that I would like to use, and I'm going to get a little piece of tape and just tape that yarn on the back, okay, and see how I've taped it in the middle. So I'm going to start just like this, and then I'm going to take that yarn and I'm going to go through, you can start anywhere you'd like, but I'm going to go through one of those slits that I had made. I'm going to go through and I'm going to go across that plate, and you'll see I went across and went through a slit. I'm going to go across the back, so let me just show you. I'm coming across. I'm going to go through the next slit and straight across that plate. I'm going to do it again. You're going to do this over and over. Also, I want you to notice, you want to make sure that you're not pulling it too tight when you do that. You just want those strands taunt across. So if you notice, I'm going to go over the top and then under the bottom. Over the top, under the bottom. And notice I'm going around that plate. If I were you, I would take this whole spool of yarn to your spot. And you can see my yarn is still attached because I'm not sure exactly how much I'm going to need. So you want to just keep that attached. Here I go. I go to the next slit, across, the next slit, across, and you can see this pattern that I'm making. Now I get to the last one and you're going to see I'm out of slits. You can just go through any one that was across, and then you're going to come on the back. You're going to snip it and tape it down. So I have just put on my warp threads. So let me just show you what the front looks like. So here's the front. You can see I've gone through every slit all the way around, and here's the back. I've used two pieces of tape to tape it when I began and to tape it at the end. So once I'm at this point, it's time for me to weave. The weaving is so much fun, and I know that you have weaved in other grades, and whenever you weave, you go under, over, under, over, under, over. Let me just show you. I'm going to get a different color here. And once you have put those initial warp threads on, when we do the weft, what I like to do is not bring this whole not keep this attached. You are going to need to separate it. And I would It depends on how much you want to do. I would make this as long as your arm. So I'd start at my shoulder, make it as long as my arm, and I'll demonstrate this in class, and then snip it. And then you can take that yarn back up to the yarn supply. And what I'm going to have you do is go to the center, and you're going to tie a knot. If you need help with this part, you can ask a teacher, or you could ask a student at your table that you can see has done a good job. I put that yarn through, and I'm just going to tie a knot. I'm going to tie that knot once, and I'm going to tie it one more time, and then I'm going to snip the little tail off. So you can see, here's my yarn I'm using, here's the tail. I'm going to snip that off, and I'm ready to start weaving. Now, I like to use these long needles. You need to find out what works for you. When you're using the long needle, you're going to go ahead and put that yarn through the eye of the needle. That's that oval there. You're going to leave a little bit of a tail, and then you are going to start. I usually start by going under, then I'm going to go over the next one. I'm going to go under the next one, over, under, over, under. And I did that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I did that under 7 of them. You find out what works for you. And then you're going to pull, and you're going to see that that has just gone around in a circle. Then I'm going to go over, under, over, under, over, under, pull. And you are going to do this over, under, all the way around. And you'll keep going until you have enough of that, whatever color that you would like to use. So you can see I'm going to keep going. Now, you might have noticed my yarn just came off my needle. Don't worry, that happens. You're just going to want to put that yarn right back on and keep going. So let me just show you. I'm going to keep going over, under, over, under, over, under. You might be noticing that each time I do that, I pull that yarn, not too hard, but I pull it so it closes up next to the other. So over, under, over, under, over, under. Now, let me just show you. I'm going to show you the one that I finished so you can see the different colors. And you might notice on this one I started with pink, then I went to this pink that was a little bit thicker, then I went to blue, and then I went to red. When you want to switch colors, all you're going to do is start with a tail. Notice I just cut that. You're going to get the next color, you're going to tie it together, and I always tie it twice. I snip those little tails as close as I can, and then you can just keep weaving. And so then you'll go on to the next color. And then I'm going to leave it up to you how far you want to weave. You notice I did about halfway because I wanted people to see the color that I had underneath. And then when we're finished, and I'll show this to you later, but we are actually going to turn this into a flower, so I cut petals. So I know you're going to love this weaving. Help each other at your table and have a great time.